What's up everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Dana White has revealed that UFC fighter bonuses could be set for a permanent increase beginning in 2026, signaling a potential shift in the promotion's long-standing stance on post-fight incentives. While White has previously been outspoken against raising bonuses under public pressure, the UFC's financial landscape is changing rapidly, following the organization's massive new $7.7 billion broadcasting deal with Paramount. According to White, the scale of the new media rights agreement has reopened discussions about structured, long-term increases to fighter bonuses. Unlike reactionary raises, these potential changes would be carefully planned and implemented in a way that aligns with the company's growth and sustainability. White emphasized that bonuses are obviously going up, noting that the cumulative financial impact of bonuses can amount to millions of dollars for fighters over time. Just months earlier, White had expressed frustration after being pushed into doubling the standard $50,000 bonus to $100,000 at UFC 304 following public calls from Bobby Green. That event ultimately reinforced White's skepticism, as it produced only 5 finishes across 14 fights, resulting in what he described as a flat and forgettable night. The lack of urgency and excitement left White convinced that higher bonuses do not necessarily translate into improved performance, leading him to vow that he would never again be pressured into raising bonuses on the spot. However, the Paramount deal has changed the conversation. While White remains firmly opposed to impulsive or emotionally driven bonus hikes, the unprecedented size of the new agreement has created room for more meaningful, long-term financial adjustments. He pointed out that viewership numbers have been extremely strong, with events drawing over 6 million viewers and peaking at nearly 9 million. White also addressed questions about star power, acknowledging that outside of figures like Conor McGregor and Jon Jones, few fighters can independently draw massive audiences to network television. Still, he believes the UFC's new pricing model, including a reduced entry cost of $12.99, will naturally bring in more viewers. In his view, as the tide rises for the organization, before we jump into the next story, we have a small favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon. It really helps us out and ensures you'll never miss an update. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier has weighed in on the current state of the UFC lightweight division, offering insight into a landscape that is unusually calm despite major stakes at the top. The interim lightweight title fight at UFC 324 between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje has unfolded without the usual trash talk. Instead, the build has been marked by mutual respect, particularly from Pimblett, who has repeatedly praised Gaethje as a proven veteran and one of the division's most dangerous competitors. That respect, however, has not affected Pimblett's confidence. He has made it clear that he intends to apply relentless pressure, believes his style will overwhelm Gaethje, and has even predicted a finish, including the possibility of a knockout. For Pimblett, this fight represents more than just a title opportunity. It is a statement that he has arrived at the elite level of the lightweight division. Gaethje, on the other hand, has remained even more reserved. His recent interviews have focused almost entirely on preparation and improvement, with little attention given to Pimblett beyond acknowledging the matchup. He has promised fans that his wrestling has improved significantly, even suggesting he may surprise people by securing a takedown in the fight. The interim title exists due to undisputed lightweight champion Ilia Topuria stepping away on an indefinite hiatus for family reasons. While the expectation is that the interim champion will unify the belt with Topuria upon his return, there is growing uncertainty. If the absence extends or leads to the belt being vacated, the interim title could become the undisputed championship. In that scenario, Arman Tsarukyan would be next in line. Widely regarded as the top contender, Tsarukyan has continued to stay active, and Daniel Cormier believes he may currently be the best lightweight in the world, with Ilia Makhachev out of the picture. Cormier praised Tsarukyan's size, strength, and physicality, calling him an elite talent. Cormier also emphasized that while Pimblett and Gaethje are outstanding fighters, the matchup fans truly need to see is Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. According to DC, those two possess not only elite skill sets but also the kind of competitive tension that could anchor one of the biggest lightweight title fights in UFC history. Move on to another news. Josh Thompson recently offered an in-depth breakdown of a high-stakes middleweight clash as Reinier de Ridder prepares to face Caio Borralho at UFC 326 inches Las Vegas on March 7. The matchup carries major implications for a division that is rapidly taking shape as the title picture becomes clearer. At the top of the division, Khamzat Chimaev is expected to defend his middleweight title in the spring against Nasruddin Imavov. With that fight looming, the next tier of contenders is already positioning itself. Fighters like Sean Strickland and Anthony "Fluffy" Hernandez remain close to the title conversation, and it's widely believed that the winner of their matchup could be next in line for a championship opportunity. However, there is growing uncertainty around how long Chimaev will remain at middleweight. In recent interviews, he has suggested that he may look to move divisions after a single title defense in pursuit of champ status. Chimaev has openly discussed the possibility of jumping to light heavyweight or even returning to welterweight, claiming he can still make the 170-pound limit. That scenario becomes even more intriguing if Kamaru Usman manages to reclaim the welterweight title in 2026, potentially setting the stage for a highly anticipated champ versus champ rematch. Their first encounter was an electric 3-round fight that left fans wanting a 5-round sequel. Against this backdrop, Thompson views the Borralho vs. De Ridder matchup as a crucial fight for both men. He emphasized that both fighters are coming off losses despite being highly regarded contenders who were previously discussed as potential top 3 or top 4 threats in the division. De Ridder, who was ranked near the top before his recent loss to Brendan Allen, still presents unique challenges with his size and clinch work, even if his wrestling has shown limitations. Thompson praised Borralho's well-rounded skill set, noting his effectiveness on the feet and solid defensive grappling. With both fighters having ample time to recover, prepare, and manage their weight cuts, Thompson believes the timing is ideal. He also highlighted De Ridder's impressive activity level, pointing out that he competed 4 times in a single year, an achievement that reflects durability and a commitment to constant improvement through competition. In Thompson's view, consistent cage time is the ultimate proving ground, and this fight represents a pivotal opportunity for both athletes to reassert themselves in a crowded and evolving middleweight division. Move on to another news. The rivalry between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev has officially escalated from verbal sparring into a full-blown feud. What initially began as light trash talk has rapidly intensified, with each exchange adding more tension and personal animosity. The situation ignited when Topuria publicly claimed that Makhachev moved up to welterweight because he was afraid to face him at lightweight. Rather than backing down, Topuria doubled down on his remarks, boldly stating that he would defeat Makhachev, and even going as far as suggesting he could handle him in a street fight. Those comments immediately caught Islam's attention. Makhachev responded by telling the reigning lightweight champion to focus on defending his belt instead of using his name for attention. However, the war of words did not stop there. Just days later, Topuria escalated matters further by claiming he would submit Makhachev, and shockingly stated he would step on Khabib Nurmagomedov's head, turning the dispute deeply personal. Islam later addressed the situation in an interview, making it clear that he believed Topuria was talking far too much. He hinted that if they were ever to cross paths, the confrontation might not remain verbal, leaving fans to speculate whether he meant inside the octagon or somewhere outside of it. The feud reached a new level when Makhachev's teammate, UFC flyweight Tagir Ulanbekov, confronted Topuria in person while both were in Dubai. According to Tagir, he ran into Topuria near a crowded shopping area late at night. He approached him to demand an explanation for the street fight comments and the repeated public shots aimed at Islam. Tagir claimed that Topuria reacted by shouting and warning those around him, while security quickly intervened due to the large crowd. Although no physical altercation occurred, Tagir admitted he issued a direct threat, saying he would break Topuria's teeth if they ever met one-on-one. With emotions running high and tension spilling beyond interviews and social media, this rivalry appears far from over. Whether it ultimately settles inside the octagon or continues to escalate outside of it, the MMA world is now watching closely. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier has offered high praise for both Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria amid their ongoing rivalry at lightweight. Over the past few weeks, fans have watched a steady exchange of tension between the two contenders, largely fueled by Tsarukyan's frustration over not receiving a title shot. Arman believes he has been overlooked, while Topuria has publicly stated that he has no intention of granting Tsarukyan a championship opportunity, pointing to unresolved issues stemming from the Islam Makhachev situation nearly a year ago. Despite the trash talk, Daniel Cormier made it clear that he holds immense respect for both fighters and expects them to eventually meet inside the octagon. Speaking with Red Corner MMA while in Thailand, Cormier described Tsarukyan as possibly the best lightweight in the world since Makhachev stepped away from the division. He emphasized Arman's size, strength, physicality, and activity, noting that Tsarukyan is doing everything required to remain relevant at the top of the division. Cormier also had strong words of praise for the reigning champion, Ilia Topuria. He stated that both Topuria and Tsarukyan stand out as the two best fighters in the world at lightweight, and suggested that their matchup is inevitable. While acknowledging the talents of fighters like Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, Cormier believes that the skill level and storyline surrounding Arman versus Ilia make it a fight the UFC could build into something truly special. He also pointed out Tsarukyan's impressive performance against Dan Hooker as further proof of his elite status. Praise for Topuria didn't stop with Cormier. Former UFC champion Urijah Faber recently echoed similar sentiments, suggesting that Topuria has the potential to become a triple champion. Faber highlighted Ilia's power, technique, willpower, and fighting spirit, noting that while moving between weight classes presents different challenges, Topuria appears to have all the tools needed to succeed at the highest level. As Topuria continues to gain momentum, recent clips have surfaced of him training alongside Merab Dvalishvili in Spain. The two even tested their striking power on the UFC machine, where Topuria posted a higher score. The week ended on a lighter note, with Ilia and Merab sharing a friendly Christmas exchange with Aljamain Sterling, further showcasing Topuria's growing presence across multiple divisions. Move on to another news. Robert Whittaker may be preparing for a major shift in his UFC career as he considers a move up to the light heavyweight division heading into 2026. While no official decision has been made, the former middleweight champion recently shared that the idea is very much on the table. Whittaker has not competed since July and is currently coming off a difficult stretch, having suffered back-to-back losses against Rainier de Ridder and Khamzat Chimaev. With his position in the middleweight division uncertain, many fans have been questioning what comes next for the Australian veteran. Earlier this year, Whittaker publicly called out Sean Strickland for a potential matchup, even suggesting the fight take place on the rumored White House card. However, those plans were derailed when Strickland booked a bout against Anthony Hernandez, leaving Whittaker without a clear opponent. During a recent episode of the MMA Arcade podcast, co-hosted by Whittaker and Johnny Rose, the former champion provided an update on his future. He revealed that he is targeting a return to the octagon sometime around mid-2026 and has been spending time developing new skills and refining his approach to the sport. More notably, Whittaker admitted he is seriously considering leaving the middleweight division altogether. He explained that he has grown physically and believes a move to 205 pounds could be a fresh challenge worth exploring. Addressing concerns about his height, Whittaker dismissed the criticism, pointing out that he has always faced taller opponents with longer reach throughout his career. According to Whittaker, height and reach disadvantages are nothing new to him, regardless of the weight class. With that in mind, he feels there may be little difference in competing against larger light heavyweights compared to the challenges he already faces at middleweight. The MMA community has been quick to react, with many believing the move could actually benefit Whittaker. Some fans argue that his speed, experience, and technical striking could make him a serious threat in what many consider one of the UFC's thinnest divisions. Whether Whittaker ultimately stays at middleweight or reinvents himself at light heavyweight remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the former champion is far from finished and is open to bold changes as he enters the next chapter of his career. Move on to another news. Joe Rogan has sparked fresh speculation surrounding Alex Pereira's next move inside the UFC, and it could involve a massive jump to the heavyweight division. Pereira was previously rumored to be linked to a potential showdown with Jon Jones on the highly anticipated UFC White House card. However, those plans appeared to stall after Pereira publicly stated that the White House event was no longer an option for him, leading many to question whether his heavyweight ambitions were still alive. According to Rogan, the heavyweight move may very much still be on the table. During a recent discussion, Rogan revealed that he has heard consistent chatter suggesting Pereira could face former interim heavyweight title challenger Cyril Gane next. While Rogan was careful to clarify that he has not spoken directly with Dana White about the matchup, he emphasized that the rumors are coming from people with strong connections inside the UFC. Rogan explained that the matchup is not far-fetched, especially given Pereira's current size and power. He noted that Pereira is reportedly weighing over 240 pounds and possesses knockout power that could translate effectively against heavyweights. Rogan went as far as saying Pereira hits harder than anyone the UFC has ever recorded, making him a legitimate threat regardless of division. Another factor potentially influencing the situation is Tom Aspinall's recent eye surgery, which could sideline the interim champion long enough for the UFC to book Cyril Gane in a different high-profile fight. That scenario could open the door for Pereira to make his heavyweight debut against one of the division's most technical strikers. Meanwhile, Pereira has also shared footage of himself lightly sparring with his son, suggesting his recovery is progressing well. This has raised eyebrows, as Pereira previously suffered a foot fracture during his October fight against Magomed Ankalaev. The injury now appears close to fully healed, making his withdrawal from the White House card even more intriguing. Some fans speculate that negotiations with the UFC may not have gone as Pereira hoped, especially given his history of voicing frustrations with the promotion. If Alex Pereira does face Cyril Gane at heavyweight, it would be one of the most fascinating stylistic matchups the UFC could make. The question now is simple. Would Pereira's legendary power be enough to overcome Gane's elite movement and striking precision?